My name is Jerome H. Kimminau. I go by Jerry. My birthday is July 20th, 1925. So as of today, I'm a little over 86 years of age. I entered the service in 1943, got out in 46, went back in 48, retired from the Air Force, as you saw on the little board. My career in the Air Force and the airline business. And in 1975, we were living here in Colorado, and we went back to Louisiana, and my wife's mother was not feeling well, so we took care of her. And when she passed away in 1997, I was holding her hand and said goodbye to her. And my wife did not want to leave Louisiana, and I respected that. And when I said I do, and on the 3rd of May 1950, I meant it. So I'm a devoted husband and a man, and I proclaim to be a Catholic man that practices my religion, and I've enjoyed life a lot, a whole bunch. So I moved to Colorado to be close to family, to help me take care of my wife, because she did not want anyone else. And then when we got here,
When did you came here?
We came from Louisiana. We moved up here to Colorado in December of last year. And my son lives in Inglewood. He's retired from the school system. He was a teacher and a dean of students for Cherry Creek High School. And so we moved up, got here on the 17th of December. 21st of December, I took her to the emergency room, my wife, the emergency room, and found out she had cancer. So it was quite a shock to me. And then she passed away on the 6th of June this year. So.
Jerry, tell Jason about the bomb when you were sort of playing around with it and realized what was in it.
What it was, when we were on Okinawa, and they brought the bombs, the men that was in ordnance had trucks, and they brought the bombs to the airplane. And then they unloaded them and put them on the ground or on the tarmac. And then it was up to us to fuse them, to take the nose plug out of the bomb and put a fuse in, and then load them in the bomb bay.
Was it dangerous job, or really?
Well, what I'm going to tell you is when we took the plug, when we unscrewed the plug out of the bombs, it looked like oil was coming out of them. So we thought, oh, that's real good for threads, you know, we'll just screw them in. That was nitroglycerin. You know what that is? Explosive. It's the most sensitive explosive there was.
The one?
What it was, these were World War II bombs that had laid there a long time in the sun and deteriorated. And ordnance knew that. But we didn't know it. They didn't tell us anything about what was coming out of the nose of that bomb.
So you could have exploded yourself.
It's
Explode yourself?
as I look back on it, no. I shouldn't be sitting here talking to you like this today, because it was that dangerous. It really was. It was quite something to. And they would just, drop the bomb. I mean, unload the bombs, and they'd take off, and we had to do the fusing.
How did you get the bomb in the plane? Where did it go?
There's a bomb bay that runs from here to here, and the doors open.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then there's shackles on the inside where you could, have you?
Yes.
Okay, familiar with that. Yeah, I've carried 100 pound, 200 pound, 500 pound, 2,000, and then the 12,400. Atomic bomb didn't weigh that much. That was no problem as far as weight was concerned. But it had to be, you had to make the insertion. You had to take the explosives out and then insert the atomic part of it. And we had to practice that on the way over. And then it would have been up to us to do the real thing if we were going. No, it's I look back on it. Anything else I can help you with?
What was the most memorable part in Kimminau?
The most memorable?
Yes.
Well, we flew an airplane loaded with bombs over Pyongyang, which is the capital of North Korea, and we bombed all their bridges. And we were in weather, which is clouds all the way up to our altitude. And they used anti-aircraft shells to try to knock us down. And on the 18th racetrack pattern, they run out of shells. They didn't shoot us anymore. When we got back to Okinawa, I had 241 holes in the airplane.
Wow.
And it's like if you have a handful of rocks and throw it against a tin building, that's what it would sound like inside the airplane. That flak hitting the airplane and some of it bouncing off and some of it penetrating the skin.
And one last thing, the jet stream.
Oh, it was never known because in the other war, they flew B-17s and B-25s. They never did get up to high altitude. When the night that I brought the war planes up to Tokyo from Guam, I'm up there flying at about 24,000 feet. And Tachikawa radar said, Air Force so-and-so, what are you doing up there? I said, oh, we're doing about 230 with about 260 true airspeed. He said, how much ground speed you got? I said, I don't know. He said, you're standing still. I said, what? He said, yeah, you're standing still. I said, no. So I called radar in the back. I said, what kind of ground speed we got? He said, we're not doing too good. I said, oh?
Can you imagine?
And so then Tachikawa said, you better start letting down if you want to land at Yokota. And I said, no, there's a great big mountain out there with some snow on top of it. I want to know exactly where I am. And he said, I got you. I said, all right. And then there's a switch within there that we can hit, and it'll identify us. IFF on radar. It'll make a blurb on their radar set. He said, yeah, I know where you are. You're standing still.
Wow.
You're in a jet stream. Now this is 1952.
When you went back, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had known before that we had high winds, see? And we had to actually fly over Manchuria to bomb on the Yalu. Because if we went this way, we couldn't go, see? It was just high winds. That's all we thought, see? Well, that's when they found out in the weather world that there were jet streams. See, the Japanese already knew about them.
Oh, really?
when they sent the balloons up, and those balloons drifted across the Pacific and landed in Washington and Oregon. And
Really?
yes,
They had
in
explosive.
1943.
Explosive
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
balloon?
Yeah, but we had never been exposed to it before. And
Wow.
then when I got in, you know, when this was the prop airplane, when I got into jet airplanes, yeah, you could find out real quick. I could take off in Oklahoma and hit a jet stream in an hour and 50 minutes, land at Washington, D.C., over 1,000 miles. See? So
That's incredible.
it was quite something.
Yeah.
What was the most memorable part in Kimminau?
The most memorable?
Yes.
Well, we flew an airplane loaded with bombs over Pyongyang, which is the capital of North Korea, and we bombed all their bridges. And we were in weather, which is clouds all the way up to our altitude, and they used anti-aircraft shells to try to knock us down. And on the 18th racetrack pattern, they run out of shells. They didn't shoot us anymore. When we got back to Okinawa, I had 241 holes in the airplane.
Wow.
And it's like if you have a handful of rocks and throw it against a tin building, that's what it would sound like inside the airplane. That flak hitting the airplane, and some of it bouncing off and some of it penetrating the skin.